pretty much every single home in this neighborhood is damaged in some way. Now, the house I'm standing at right now, I was told that the safe shelter was actually in between this garage and where all this damage is. There were multiple people inside, which means they were only feet away from the damage when the tornado hit. Now, if we walk this way, you could see that this home has entirely shifted off its foundation. It's leaning to the right now. Just moments ago, the new Wildfire chief came up to me and told me that the fire has rekindled in an area. What they're doing right now behind me is they're regrouping to form a new plan of attack. But neighbors say the 14-year-old boy actually ran across the street to his neighbor's house. Mr. Nolan, do you still want the death penalty? Brian, if we walk over this way, you could also see another car damaged right over here. This is where the officers were standing when they had to catch the baby. And if we pan up, you could see that's about a 20-foot drop from the second floor. This was once a window, completely knocked in from the pressure from that tornado. And you could see the insulation from his house just blown into his truck. It's a lot of damage, a lot of cleanup that he's going to have to deal with. Now, I also spoke to Brad's next door neighbor. To give you an idea, this is the heavy material that they're working with, so it's gonna be a lot of hard work over the next couple of days into next week. You wanna go? All right, let's do it. All right, for now, live on the scene on the story, Tiffany Liou sledding down a hill, new sign. Woo! Oh my gosh, no!
I started out at 12 on the stage.
A musician from the town of Vera, Oklahoma.
Through the years, I've played in several bands.
Jonathan Chasteen.
It's my comfort zone. I mean, when I get behind a microphone, I feel at home. It's just perfect.
He came all the way to Oklahoma City to watch the man who inspired him to play.
That was my first Garth concert.
His wife decided to make this sign. It reads, "My husband is a musician because of you."
I told her not to because I didn't think they would allow it in.
But they did, and Garth noticed.
What do you mean because of Garth? What is that?
He pulled Jonathan on stage.
Come here.
He asked me if I wanted to play one of his songs or one of my songs, and I'm thinking, no, I don't want to do one of your songs. I don't want to mess it up.
He soloed in front of a sold-out arena.
To hear the crowd after I was finished singing was just a dream come true, let alone being up on stage with my idol.
And then he got his lifelong dream. A duet with Garth Brooks.
Garth told me he loved me.
But his night wasn't over that quickly. Before Jonathan got off stage,
He asked me what kind of guitar that I had, and I told him that I had an Epiphone acoustic. He goes, huh.
Would it upset you if I told you to take that one?
Best thing I've ever played. Most beautiful, crisp tone I've ever heard. It is awesome. It's his signature guitar that he specifically made. That's always been a dream of mine, but I just never thought it would come true.
in Vera, Tiffany Liou, News 9.
It's closing time.
From blown out windows to a total loss, the victims of this tornado and their friends and family have been cleaning up the damage from the storm.
Scary.
That's one way to describe the tornado that hit Elk City.
We stayed out and watched it until we saw the rain starting to wrap and it reversed and we hit the shelters.
Lana Graham and her family piled into a small storm shelter, including her dogs and her premature grandson.
We're going to cover the baby. She went and got him in by the baby and in between Paige.
Their ears popped. It was loud.
It sounds like a train coming. You can hear the hail in the clouds.
And then it was over.
When we came out, the insulation was blown all over the garage.
Heard the sheetrock hit the car.
Only to find every home on the street in pieces.
My brother's house is a loss. My parents' house is a loss.
Most of Lana's family lives here, and so do her students. She's an Elk City science teacher.
So we have about 10 kids in our neighborhood that I teach, so that most of them have lost their homes.
She says this year has been hard enough without the tornado.
My boyfriend, we just got back from the city from his chemo yesterday.
Larry Johnson is battling stage 4 colon cancer, but putting his community first.
Got my chemo pump and I just walked around the neighborhood to make sure everybody was okay.
They say Elk City is resilient.
Every single person in my family lost their home this year.
Even after all this damage, they're grateful.
No one was hurt, no one passed away. We're good.
Now, after that interview with the family, their dog, the one you saw in the video, actually ran away. She was so scared of the tornado damage. If anyone in this area has seen a 2-year-old blonde lab named Oakley with a pink collar, please call us at News 9 and let me know. I can put you in contact with the family so that we can reunite them. Now let's send it back to Kelly Ogle.
I was standing right here.
Ricardo Rostro.
I had just finished sweeping my garage, standing right here. I heard Quincy coming down from his uncle's house.
Every
coming down
day
the
like
street.
clockwork.
I'm the cool guy on the corner. That's what he called me.
12-year-old Quincy rode his dirt bike eastbound past Ricardo's house, including Wednesday.
I was the only one out here. There's nobody out here.
Ricardo says a car going west the other way didn't see Quincy on his bike.
And I ran to go see if Quincy was okay.
He saw the SUV turn left and hit the boy.
It was just
Quincy is at the hospital.
He was extraordinary.
It was amazing.
His parents, Christy and Dwayne, keep coming back to where the crash happened.
7:13 p.m., I believe. The sun is so high right above the trees. It's right in your eyes. I did it myself. That's why I know. The guy didn't see him. He didn't mean to, but he didn't see him.
He knows it was an accident.
I understand. I just want to hug him and tell him it's all right. I know good and well you didn't mean to hurt my boy.
And while he taught his son to ride carefully,
I know their family's hurting too, and I want to apologize to them because, you know, in reality, an off-road vehicle was not supposed to be on the street at that time.
he tells us Quincy is on life support for now.
We have decided when the sun's starting to go down, we're going to let God take over. And it's either going to be one crazy, crazy miracle that you've never heard of, or he's going to be up in heaven.
In Oklahoma City,
He's one of my best friends.
Tiffany Liou, News 9. Seeing all the donated hay bales makes Britt Hilton smile.
Words can't express how grateful we are.
Because he knows livestock is livelihood.
Probably around 1,500, maybe 2,000 hay bales here.
He has to keep his cattle fed and, well, plump.
That would feed a cow for several weeks.
Britt is the 5th generation of Barbie Farms. His great-great-grandfather established it in 1896. So all this, 45,000 acres, is his family's bread and butter. And I mean that literally. Their cattle graze the fresh grass for food. Lately, Britt says they're relying on hay. Not every patch looks this green.
We lost about 85% of our ground.
In fact, most of his acreage is destroyed
We've never seen anything of this magnitude.
by fire.
It was just fire everywhere.
35 heads of cattle are dead, plus 150 miles of fencing is damaged. Replacing it would cost over $1 million.
It's tough to see it burnt down, but
Then there are things that can't be replaced.
this was one of the old ranch schoolhouses.
Next to it is a home where his ancestors lived over a century ago.
A lot of our family has a lot of childhood memories here.
And there was no way for Britt to protect his own farm.
We're on the volunteer fire department.
He was one of the first firefighters in the front lines of Oklahoma's largest wildfire while his property was burning.
We were all on those fire trucks for about 40 hours straight.
His family is just now starting to rebuild.
This recovery, I think, will take at least a year.
Britt is asking for a little gift from Mother Nature.
You know, we pray for rain every day, and when you see green grass coming, you're very hopeful.
In Beaver County,
It's hard not to shed a tear.
Tiffany Liou, News 9. Mackenzie Asher is 11 years old. She loves to dance lyrical and freestyle. You would never know.
I was 10 years old when I got diagnosed.
She has cancer,
Acute myeloid leukemia.
and this is Mackenzie's second time diagnosed.
We just discovered about a month ago that leukemia is back.
Through it all,
This is a central line.
she's held it together
Basically-
for her family.
She has excelled through this whole process, and she's great.
Once you go through it once, you know at least what's gonna happen next.
And then we have Caitlin Callahan. She's 10 years old with a big, spunky, and bubbly personality.
Yeah!
What you don't see is at home.
It always seems tighter on that side.
Caitlin has daily breathing treatment. It keeps her alive as she battles cystic fibrosis.
Right now we're doing albuterol, salt, and Pulmazine in the morning, and we do beets.
The vest is what she calls beets. It breaks up the mucus in her lungs. And it lets her sing in a funny voice.
This is my fight zone.
This helps her day to day. But for Caitlin's future, there are a lot of unknowns. She tells me her little sister worries.
She asks about it and she cries because she knows that I'm not going to be there one day. And it really hurts her feelings. But I tell her that it's not going to be anytime soon. I'm going to stay here.
As different as leukemia and cystic fibrosis are, these two girls share a bond that's tough to understand.
I think that everything happens for a reason.
For being so strong, they're chosen as this year's honorary heroes through an organization called Faith Kids.
When there's extra doctor bills and there's extra medicines, that your needs will be helped because of fundraising.
On September 30th, Mackenzie and Caitlin will be honored at a bowling tournament.
It's fair!
It's to help them as they fight.
And I hope I can be there, so if you're there, you'll see me there.
In Oklahoma City, Tiffany Liou, News 9.